If you love me, please don't judge me. Got my hands tied, the power's above me. Don't shoot the messenger, I'm just a puppet here. If you wanna place blame, then look to the puppeteer. Family, fortune, envy, jealousy, privilege, passed on, legacy, secret, sabotage, borderline, felony, suicide, subtract, selfish, pedigree, yeah.
How's it going, everybody? It's C-RadTV back here in another video. So, of course, it's time to continue on the What If NASCAR Had F1 Point series. So, the last time in the series, we took a look at the now debunked NASCAR Convertible Division series from the 1950s to see what would have changed under the F1 Points format. And we saw a couple of things would have changed, but a few things stayed the same for the most part. And we found out that there wasn't really a dominant driver in that series, for the most part. And in this part, we're going to take a look at another debunked series that only ran for 2 seasons in the 1970s, and that is the Grand National East Series. So, of course, this was a series that started up in 1972, pretty much to try and become a second series to the Winston Cup Series after Winston came into the sport to become the sponsor for the Cup Series. And of course, Winston's sponsorship pretty much started NASCAR's modern era, when Winston helped downsize the schedule when they felt like 50 to 60 races were just too long and boring for a lot of fans to stay hooked into. So the Grand National East Series, it was brought in to where they would run at tracks that would no longer be on the Cup Series schedule. And it would pretty much try and be a second series for a lot of young drivers and other drivers to develop and race at. The series only ran for 2 seasons, as the series would end up folding after 1973. And the series, there was a Grand National West, which was known as the Winston West, and that series, in the Winston West, that series has now become the ARCA West series, which we're going to go over that series in a future video. Now, this series did make a comeback in 1987 as the Grand National North Tour, after the NASCAR North Division folded after 1985. And eventually that North Division in 1987, that would eventually end up becoming what it is now today, which is the ARCA East Series. And we're going to go over that series in a future video. So some little previews and little spoilers of what's to come later on in the series. So yeah, anyway, on the screen, of course, I'll show ahead and I'll show the points format we're going to use for the 2 seasons of the Grand National East Series. We're going to go over here, so it will be top 6 finishers getting points. And before we continue on with this video, let me once again stress out that even though we're going over 2 seasons, this is still just a hypothetical scenario. I know everyone would have raced differently in these 2 years had this format been in play. This is just for fun. So now, with that out of the way, let's go ahead and let's jump right into it. So the 1972 season, it was a very close championship battle between Neil Castles and Elmo Langley. Those two were the class of the field all season. Both were neck and neck with each other all year. It was so close that this championship battle, it would go all the way down to the season finale at Columbia Speedway, with both drivers separated by 4 points. So for Elmo Langley to have a shot at the championship, he would need to finish 2nd or better, and he would need Neil Castles to finish at least 6th or worse to have a shot at the championship. Neil Castles just needed to stay close to Elmo Langley to win the championship. In the end, both of them ran up front for most of the race, but in the end, Neil Castles would finish 2nd at Columbia, while Elmo Langley would finish 3rd, 1 lap down, because it was very common in the 70s that not have many cars finish on the lead lap. So with Neil Castles finishing ahead of Elmo Langley, that would be more than enough for Neil Castles to win the 1972 Grand National East Championship by only 6 points over Elmo Langley. So even under this points format, Neil Castles would still be the inaugural Grand National East champion in 1972. So 1973, the season would be all about Tiny Lung. Tiny Lung was just flat out dominant all year in terms of speed and consistency. Like, nobody had an answer for him. And Tiny Lung, he would just flat out run away with the Grand National East Championship in 1973. And would still be your final 1973 Grand National East champion. And he would win the championship with 69 points. Nice. But yeah, anyway, that's going to wrap it up here for this part of the What If NASCAR Had F1 Points format. Yeah, only 2 seasons. It was a really quick video to go through and do research for. So yeah, under this points format in this series, we only had 1 championship battle go down to the season finale, which was the inaugural season, 1972. But under this format, both champions would still remain the same under this format, so virtually nothing changed. Tiny Lung and Neil Castles would still win the championships respectively. They would be the only 2 champions in this series before it folded after 1973 due to financial issues and lack of interest. Mainly because in the 70s, NASCAR couldn't develop a second series to develop their lives, if their lives depended on it. But eventually, NASCAR would learn how to do it, and they would develop a second series eventually, and that would end up being the Xfinity Series. And then they bring in the Truck Series. But the Grand National East Series, it would make a comeback as the ARCA East Series. So yeah, this was definitely a short-lived series. Short-lived series for sure. Pretty disappointing that I couldn't get a few more seasons and not even at least 4 or 5 seasons at least. So yeah, pretty disappointing that only ran for 2 years. Would have been interesting if it could run longer. But yeah, this series ended up being the predecessor to the ARCA East series. So yeah, and like I said, we're going to go over ARCA East and West in future videos, probably in Phase 3. Mainly for me, the one delay I want to have with that is I want to mainly wait till after the 2021 seasons are over so I can go over them. But yeah, you got those videos to look forward to in the future at some point. All depends on how fast I do my research. So yeah, anyway, that's going to wrap it up here. So yeah, we're going to go through another series that ran in the 1970s and much of the 1980s for only a few seasons. And we're going to go over that one in the next part of this What If series. And whenever that video gets out, it all depends on how fast I do my research, since my work schedule really limits how much research I can do. But yeah, anyway, that's going to wrap it up here. That's all I got to say. Hope everyone has a great day, and I'll see you all in whatever I make next. Peace.